Shelley is with us in Los Angeles. Hi, Shelley. How are you?
Hi there, Dave.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, not much. Thank you for having me on your show. It's an honor.
Well, it's an honor to have you. How can I help?
Well, my boyfriend promised me that he would take care of his back taxes while I went back to school full-time for a year. And I recently learned the other day that he did not take care of that, and he now owes approximately $70,000 in back taxes. Mm-hmm. Now, I've graduated, and I've been working for a little over 3 months, and I love this man dearly, and I want to start a future with him, but this is definitely going to delay that. And so I just want to know, how can we as a team work together to, get this off of his plate so that we can start our future together?
Okay. Well, there's two potential problems. The taxes themselves don't bother me. How we got into this mess in the first place is a habit pattern that's a deal breaker, if that's not changed. And then the fact he told you he was going to take care of this and hadn't worked on it, so you now care more about it than he does, that's a deal breaker too. So tell me more about those two things. How did he get into this mess?
Well, he got into this back in the recession. So what started all this is
recession doesn't cause you to be behind on taxes. You make less income in the recession. That's when he chose to stop paying his taxes?
I can't speak for him, but I'm assuming
so. You're looking at it. You know what's going on. Why did he not pay his taxes?
Well, I know that he's self-employed, and I know he lost a lot of his clients. I know he lost his house. I know that he fell into a deep depression over this and really didn't have any money coming in. So I would say just due to depression and lack of responsibility during that time frame.
Okay. And what I would want to know, how old are you?
I'm 44, and he's 47.
If you had a daughter, that was getting married, that was going to marry, and this guy is, a young man comes in and is sitting at your table, and he starts telling you this. If I have 2 daughters that are married to 2 fabulous young men, I would want to be interviewing them. I want to be asking them, okay, when you guys as a couple hit the wall and have struggles again, is this pattern going to repeat itself where you become debilitated by hard times and can't work your way through them?
Well, I personally don't think so. I mean, because of him, I was able to save up money and was able to quit my pharmaceutical job of 13 years and go back to school and get my second degree.
Why because of him?
Time frame,
wait a minute, why because of him? I don't understand.
Well, he basically carried the reins, so I know that he is responsible. I mean, he did an excellent job.
Okay. Let's say a recession hits and his life, your all's life, as a married couple falls apart again. That's what I'm saying. Is he going to repeat this pattern that he went through? That's concern number one. Because, or is this because I went through hell, I lost everything, and that doesn't disqualify someone from being marriage material. That's not what but what you don't want is if the taxes are a symptom, and if the problem that caused that is still there, walking into this marriage, you're facing that. That's why you're calling me, right?
Right. Well, yeah, I'm trying to find out what's the best solution for him to tackle this and get this taken care of, because I know
for him to deal with the root cause. That's the best solution, not for you to fix it for him. And when you offered him the chance to go fix it for himself, he didn't go do it. Why was that?
Well, I was going to school full time, and he basically was paying for everything, the rent, the bills, and everything during that time frame. So,
but you had agreed that he was going to work on the taxes, and he never did, and he never brought it up again until afterwards, and he said, "Oops."
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is a deal breaker, but the oops and the life knocked me down and I can't get back up, and so I'm in a hole, and 5 or 6 years later I'm still in that hole. These are the things you're going to be dealing with 10 years from now. They're going to have a little different label on them or flavor if he hasn't dealt with it. Now, when I went through hell, I mean, Sharon Ramsey, she was one seriously terrified woman, and she was scared to death. And if she couldn't recover from that terror, and 25, 30 years later, we're still dealing with that with Sharon, then she, then we'd have that issue, right? I mean, if every time we got ready to do something, she had a meltdown because of what happened 30 years ago, then that means she didn't heal and didn't learn and didn't grow from the thing we went through. Obviously, I did a whole lot of stupid stuff and made a life out of the fact that I stopped doing all that stupid stuff and made a brand out of that. So I'm not bragging on us. I'm just saying that's a normal progression when you go through hell, is to come out with scars but never go back. And that's what I want to make sure happens here. So I can't answer that. I mean, we've felt around the edges of this thing, and we're not really, you and him have to get into that. I would recommend some good in-depth pre-marriage counseling for the two of you. And this needs to be center of the plate as you're serving up the course of pre-marriage counseling. How did this get here? Why is it still here? And not mechanically, not how he took care of you. And no, he told you he was going to take care of it, and then he didn't. And I got behind on my taxes when I went broke. And I had to go to clean up the dadgum KGB, I mean the IRS. They were a pain in the butt. So it doesn't disqualify someone as marriage material for that. But you're calling me because you got this little bell ringing in the back of your head, and that's God's Spirit saying, be cautious, my daughter. And so be cautious. You know, don't just accept his word. And I'm not saying it's a deal breaker. Please, I'm not saying this guy is off the table. But, boy, if you were my little sister, which is what you'd be at 44 if I'm 55, then I would put my arm around you and say pre-marriage counseling in depth, not the high five as you drive past the preacher. I'm talking about where you dig in and you dig out everybody's crap and you put it on the table and you deal with it. And that's, by the way, that's great for anybody that's engaged, but particularly us old dogs going through a cycle. I mean, somebody going through it at 44 is a lot different than 24, but you still need to dig into it. And high correlation between successful marriages and how much in-depth pre-marriage counseling they did, by the way, for all of us to know that. But, yeah, that's how I would look at it. So good question. Good question. So let's recap that as a principle for everybody out there, for all of you listening. Dave Ramsey has never said one time in my life, don't marry someone because they have debt. I have never said that. I have said don't marry them because they love debt or they overspend and they're immature and the debt is the symptom of a bad character that's telling you not to marry them. I've said that many times. And I'm not sure which this guy is. I don't know. But she needs to find out, doesn't she? And that's what we're digging into. All of us. Together. That's why the show's so stinking popular. It's real life on the radio. It's the Dave Ramsey Show. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show. So you have to break the cycle. You have to flip this thing on its head and make it behave. You've got to get so fired up and wired up that your broke friends think you've lost your mind.